Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Psyched by Juli Caldwell. This is a YA paranormal. It's about 244 pages, so it's a fairly quick read. Very enjoyable read. It's about a story of a high school student by the name of AC. We meet also her very younger brother Leo, their father, who runs a diner where AC works, and their mother, who's a bit of a con artist. She pretends to be a psychic to make money. And the ironic thing about that is, while she's not a psychic, AC is. See, she sees dead people. She sees the spirits of the departed. Something that's been happening to her since she was a much younger girl. And she's told people about it. No one's believed her. They always say it's just the imaginations and nightmares of a young girl. But she's learned kind of not to say anything more about it. She knows they're real, and she's learned how to deal with them. They're just people that have passed on, but not completely. They haven't crossed over. They haven't found the light and made their way home. And she's just been able to help them do that. And the only thing is the demons that have shown up. They're a whole nother ballgame. They feed off fear, and for that reason she's had to be very strong. She learns that fear gives them power over her. And if she's not afraid of them, they will not trouble her. Now, her younger brother Leo has been having night terrors, and she soon realizes that these night terrors aren't just typical nightmares of a young boy. He has the same abilities as she does. He also sees spirits of dead people, and she's, at the very beginning of the book, kind of explaining what's happened to her and how she's learned to deal with it, and the same thing with the demons, that he can't show fear. There's this one particular demon, though, that's going to be giving her trouble throughout the book by the name of Malice. He's a whole nother ball game. Quite a trip. I really liked his character. I don't know what it is with demons in books. I haven't come across too many of them, but the way the demon here is described, and the way the one by the name of Al in the Hollow series by Kim Harrison, one of my favorite series, they always seem to be portrayed as impeccably dressed, very aristocratic, well-mannered, yet there's this underlying malevolence to them. There's this deep-seated evil that can just erupt and snap, and they're super powerful. And it was just interesting that Malice is written the same way that Al is in the other series, and I was wondering if anybody's come across demons in other stories. I haven't, like I said, read demons in very many books, so I'm curious if that just seems to be the way generally portrayed. Maybe that's part of demon lore. I don't know. And then when they're, in their true appearance, they have the ram's head and all the weird-looking creature, but otherwise they're very kind of human-looking in their disguise, human disguise, and very aristocratic. But he was a very interesting character and very creepy. Now, one day, a boy named Vance and his friend Colby show up at the diner where AC is working, and she's kind of hanging out there with her friend Zinnia, and, it's a pretty quiet night. Now, Vance and Colby are studying a paranormal activity. They're doing this class on it, and they've got all this sort of equipment they bring in with them, and it starts to kind of react when AC is nearby. And then even when Leo comes by, he's there hanging out with the family too. And the equipment totally goes nuts when her father walks nearby. Now this totally surprises her. She's like, what's going on? And Vance explains, she's picking up some kind of power from your father. And this is when the father finally steps forward and says he has a secret he needs to tell her, and yet he can't. This is very weird. Now, everything I've said so far is pretty much mentioned in the synopsis here. There's no, I'm not giving any secrets to the book or anything like that. But he does mention he has a secret. He has given an oath that he can't say it, but he knows someone who can explain things to her, and he sends her off to see a man named Father Jay. At this point in the book, he asks Vance to accompany her, not to leave her side, to stay with her. And this was something that caused me to kind of knock the book down a star in my ratings, because this is a boy he's never met. AC's never met her, doesn't know anything about him, and yet you're entrusting him not only with the secret that you're about to reveal to your daughter that she doesn't even know, but you're putting her safety in the hands of someone you have never met. And I thought that was a bit odd. The only connection to either one of these boys is AC's friend Zinnia knows Colby from a long time ago. So it seemed a little far-fetched that he would do that. But from this point in the story, AC and Vance are kind of linked, and they're off on this sort of adventure to find out the past of her father, and also an event that had taken place when she was much younger that kind of tore the family apart. The parents are kind of separated. and it's caused quite a wrench and quite upsetting. And they are off on this journey together, and also we have Malice to deal with, who's causing all sorts of trouble in her life. And it was very well written. I liked all the characters. AC starts out very strong because, of course, she's had to be all her life dealing with the ghosts and the demons that have appeared in her life. So she's kind of a strong character throughout. She's thrown a little bit for a loop when she encounters things further in the book, and I don't want to get into spoilers at that point. But like I said, I like the characters. Leo's, he's a really cute kid. Of course, he's dealing with all this, these ghostly spirits too. AC is great because since their parents have kind of separated and her mother's, a little loopy, she doesn't play too much of a factor in this book, I thought. We're kind of given an explanation of what she does for a living, but she's not very present too much in their lives. It seems like AC's been more of a mother to Leo than their own mother has been. I don't understand why they were living with her instead of maybe living with the father. It would have made more sense. But she's a very strong character. She's had to be all her life. There's a whole interesting background story to the father, which you come to learn about. That's all part of the secret that he hasn't been able to reveal. The story was very well written, very well paced. Like I said, even Malice was a great character. Here's your main evil in the book, and he has a great background to him as well. Everybody was perfect. Vance, too. There's a bit of a romance to it, to their relationship as the story progresses, but not insta-love. I wouldn't say anything like that. It's sort of starting to develop. There's a good pacing to it, good action, very well descriptions of everything that you see, and everything on this cover, which is an amazing cover, by the way. This house, you learn about this house in her past. The girl with the weird little teddy bear creature, she's in the book as well. The ending, this is part one of a series, which I didn't know going into it. And the ending for me, I thought could have concluded a little better for part one of a series. There's almost a cliffhanger, and then the way they kind of ended, I mean, obviously, that has to be resolved. There's a situation that's not quite resolved at the end of this book, but it seemed like the point where it ended, it should have been on a more almost somber note, yet they were like back at the diner and things seemed to be kind of working out, and it was like, but I don't understand why it was so traumatic that what didn't happen, that you wanted to happen, which you hopefully will happen in the next book, and that's as close as I can get to without being spoiler-free, without being spoilers. It just seemed like it should have been a little bit more, well, we're going to keep fighting, we've got to do this, and it ended kind of odd for me there. It's not going to deter me from wanting to pick up the second book. I definitely want to pick it up and see how they're going to resolve the situation, but it just seemed to end a little bit odd for me. I thought it would have been a little bit more somber, and yeah, I don't know how else to put it without giving anything away. But overall, like I said, I love the characters. I love the pacing of the book, the writing, the descriptions. Everybody was well detailed. Great plot. Definitely recommend picking this one up, and I will be looking for book 2, certainly. So I gave it overall 4 out of 5 stars, and that's my review. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.